Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backboard Podcast, Episode 2. My name is Omar with my esteemed co-hosts, Max and Earl. How you boys doing tonight?
Um, I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing great. Feels great waking up a Lakers fan every single day, enjoying the day. Just living life, man, vibing, trying to get this podcast off, and yeah, ready for episode 2, baby.
Let's go.
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm
That's
not
it.
I'm not sure I buy that, Max. I'm not gonna lie to you. You do not seem fantastic.
I don't know. It's a fantastic day. I don't know. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Like how fantastic can you be 10 o'clock at night? Do I
Is
need
it-
to that's my fantasticness? Like do I need to spell it out like FANTASTIC? I think.
I think you
Like
spelled
this.
it wrong, but it's okay because we are filming this at 10:15 at night on September
right?
5th. On September 5th. Shout out, Dad. Happy birthday. You old man, 65 years old. Happy birthday, Pops. You're old, but I love you. We got a lot to talk about today. I kind of wanted to start off with Trey Murphy III, an amazing player for the New Orleans Pelicans. Tore his meniscus.
Oh snap!
And as we known from other players, Sean Livingston, everybody remember him when he was playing for GSW a little while ago, Golden State. Before that, he hasn't played since the really early 1990 season when he was with the Sixers, or the early 2000s. Don't take my word for that. But that's the last person I've heard having a meniscus tear. So to see somebody so young get something so serious, it really, really scares me because he didn't even get the chance to take off yet in terms of his talent. So just seeing where he was and now he's injured, it's sad to see.
I definitely think Trey Murphy, as a player, yeah, I don't want to say he has one of the brightest futures in the NBA, but I think his ceiling is legitimately all-star level, sky high. If that, he's got all the natural athleticism and kind of the build that you would want in a basketball player. How tall is he? He's 6'8", 6'9". He's got the height, he's got the length, he's athletic as heck. Skinny, can move, can cut through traffic, and handle the basketball well for a guy his height. So I'm not going to sit here and act like Trey Murphy's an all-star right now. But I definitely think that one day it's not out of the question for him to be a top 30 or a top 25 player in the league, just based on the raw skill sets he has. Whether he'll be able to harness that in New Orleans is up for debate, especially with Zion and Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum probably getting the most touches out there. But like I said, it stinks to see injuries happen. It's a part of the game. It's sad to see that. I think he's already had a little bit of injury history already. Obviously, this is by far the worst one he's had thus far. So hopefully the guy can get back on the court soon. I'm a believer in Trey Murphy. I'd love to see him blossom into a full-on, top 50, top 40 NBA player, because I think his ceiling is legitimately that high. I don't think that's probably a little controversial to say right now because he's not all that at the moment. But in 5 years, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trey Murphy. First of all, prayers out to him and his family. Hopefully, he can have a speedy and well recovery. We see it too many times where young players get injured, kind of shortchanges their career a little bit. But hopefully, that's not the case here. Yeah, it just sucks, man. Pelicans definitely had some good drafts. Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones as well. He's been playing really great as well, and then obviously Trey Murphy too. So seeing him get hurt, it definitely sucks. I do kind of agree to Max to the point where his potential is sky high. Where his ceiling falls right now, I'm not 100% sure, but I do agree he has the build, he has the athleticism, he can shoot, he can drive. He just has the all around superstar potential package. So seeing guys like that get hurt early on in their career, it definitely sucks, man. I was expecting him to have a pretty big season this year. Not like a huge leap, but I feel like he could get some consistent minutes on that Pelican squad and help them contribute to winning games. So when you lose a guy like that, especially a young player, it definitely sucks for Pelicans fans, especially with the fact they've been battling injuries with all their stars. CJ McCollum, obviously Zion Williamson, hasn't been able to play a full healthy season just yet. Hopefully Pelicans can have that this year. And along with that, Brandon Ingram has had health problems as well. So I don't know if we can just I don't know what how he got this injury. Maybe off season training. Is that what it was, Omar? or was there not like okay off-season training? Yeah, so stuff like that it hurts, man. You go into the off-season trying to get better, trying to prepare yourself for the season. Sometimes things just don't get. Sometimes things just don't work out. You get injured, and that's the case for Trey Murphy. But praying for a speedy recovery for him, man. And yeah, his ceiling, like Max said, is super high. I'm excited to see what he does in the future, but I don't think this is going to be like a Sean Livingston situation. I think he's going to recover well. We just have to trust his medical team, medical staff in New Orleans. Hopefully, they can get him right and just focus on recovery, man. You don't want to bring those guys back too fast. Take your time. There really is no rush, especially when dealing with a young player. Yeah, but hopefully he's all well. Definitely sucks for Pelicans fans, but I still believe his potential will be sky high for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, his prayers up for sure for Trey Murphy and his family.
Can I just say though, real quick, like let's not act like Sean Livingston did not have like a successful NBA career. I know it's
No,
like
no,
a
no,
little
no,
bit
no, 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 no.
But
We're
no.
not saying that at all.
purposes came back really well. Especially like he was on those Golden State teams that won championships. Like he wasn't just chopped liver. He was out there putting in.
No, yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point. Because Sean Livingston might be the perfect example of what Trey Murphy can become.
I think if this recovery goes well, I think he can be much like and no disrespect to Sean Livingston, I just like sung his praises, but like Trey Murphy has a higher ceiling, I think, even with this injury. Like a torn ligament, obviously, it's not, you don't want to have it. It's still a terrible injury. I'm not going to say it's medical technology now is way better than it was even like 15, 20 years ago. And he's going to have access to the best trainers in the world. So I'm optimistic that this hopefully shouldn't hold him back too much in terms of just like long-term development. Like it's going to be a rough period for him, of course, but I'm hopeful that he should be able to bounce back for the most part and still have that like quick explosiveness, that athleticism that like Sean Livingston still kind of lost that. Like he had to develop his game around it. I'm hopeful that Trey Murphy won't have to like hinder the way he plays or like change the way he plays because of this injury.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to do that. And Sean Livingston, former champion, I always loved when I saw him on the court. I thought he was a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. But Trey, when you're coming from these types of injuries, whatever happens in the legs, it's always going to be really hard for an NBA player. Even when I used to play, like, dude, like, I'm not even joking, like, the Little League basketball tournaments, I would frick up my ankle so bad almost every single game. Like, them shits are serious. I would legitimately have inflammation, and I wouldn't be able to walk the next morning. One time, I was like 12, 13. I had to legitimately, like, crawl to, like, grab water from the kitchen because I was, like, in so much pain with my ankle. So, like, again, no disrespect. I think Trey Murphy, I thought he was going to have a really good year this season. To be completely honest with you, with CJ McCollum, he's a wonderful player. And I think he's going to be great with this new trio that he has in New Orleans. I don't think he's enough. And I think the Pelicans need a younger point guard to be able to facilitate like he does, like Trey Murphy can do. So I was really looking forward to him this season to see what he could do this season. But, I mean, I need him to take at least Klay Thompson type, like, injury for a long time. I need him to sit for at least 2 years before somebody even thinks about bringing him on the court. Well, I'm not sure how long that's going to be. But also, I want to bring up New Orleans Pelicans. Like, their medical staff has been very shaky as well because of the whole Zion thing. And he's looking great right now. He's looking ripped and he's looking healthy. But before, their track record is kind of trash. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, wait, hang on. Are you saying, like, it's going to be 2 years before he's back? Like,
no, yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if he's coming back this season. It didn't say anywhere in the report that he was definitely coming back this season. It didn't show any expectations. But with meniscuses and with like stuff in the legs and in the knees, it's usually very serious, and it's at least going to take at least one season for the player to get back to fully healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if he's not back this year, he'll be back next. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to put a timeline and speak on stuff I don't know, but I feel the Klay was a very outstanding like circumstance. Like that was a very unusual thing. I don't know if it's fair to like compare it to that. And obviously, we're all hoping for the fastest recovery possible, but I certainly think next year is realistic. At least I would hope. for his sake that next year is realistic. Like this year's, like you said, probably very much in jeopardy, but I would assume 25 we should hopefully see Trey Murphy back at full health.
Yeah, I mean, I hopefully, because I loved his game, and being somebody who loves the game of basketball, like, it's hard to see somebody so young go like that, and I really hope it's like for the best here, because I don't want to see a player go down like that ever.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah.
I think the Clay thing too. I think you got to look at like the accumulations of injuries too, like and just the severity of it. I don't know if we know how bad Trey Murphy's injury is right now, but hopefully it's not 2 years. If it's 2 years, that'd be kind of crazy. Hopefully it's maybe at worst this season, and he has the off season recover some more. But realistically, like Max said as well, like the doctors, the training technology we have nowadays, there's no telling when he could be back. So hopefully, I know Pelicans, like we said too, like you said, Omar, they don't have the best track record when it comes to like keeping their star players healthy. But all we can do is be optimistic. Hopefully, we can see him back on the floor this year, this season. I think he's. I thought before this injury he was gonna have a pretty decent leap, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, but hopefully Trey Murphy is well.
Yeah, I mean, prayers up for him, like for real. Like he needs that, and meniscus is a hard surgery to go through, so we pray for the best.
Yeah. Just before we move on, I think Omar, you mentioned how you think Trey Murphy could kind of slide into like that CJ McCollum like point guard role. I see him more as like a wing type player, like an athletic, kind of like a Brandon Ingram, but I think he's got a much higher defensive ceiling. I mean, we saw obviously he's fantastic around the rim. I'm pretty sure he won the dunk contest this year, if I'm not mistaken. He was the dunk contest winner, so we know the guy can throw it down. He's a more than capable 3-point shooter. Like he is definitely a threat on the perimeter. I kind of just in like his length that you can have at like that small forward position. Like he is very much a prototypical small forward. I haven't seen like the playmaking out of him that like I would want from like my point guard. To be fair, I'm also not like hard watching a lot of Pelicans games, so Pelicans fans can call me out if I'm wrong about this. But I feel like using him as like a primary ball handler and like trying to lead the offense is just not what he's about. I feel like he's more like take advantage of the passes from the point guard, cut off the ball, spot up at the 3-point line, go into some isolation play. Like his scoring and overall versatility is his greatest weapon, not necessarily like his quickness, like running a pick and roll. Like I see him more as the screener in a pick and roll than the ball handler personally. So y'all can tell me if I'm wrong there, but I think Trey Murphy could be like the prototypical like small forward in the NBA, like 6'8", quick, athletic, good on defense, long arms, can shoot the three. Like that's what you want in a wing, not necessarily like a point guard.
Yeah, no, I definitely see your point there. I mean, I've definitely seen him play the point guard position a couple of times. That's the only reason why I say that. And I've seen him like handle the ball sometimes. I feel like he's pretty good personally. I mean, obviously he's not the best, and he's only like 2-3 years into his NBA career.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. But
no more than.
Yeah, exactly. No more than 3. I wouldn't think so. So, I mean, look, he only develops further from there. I mean, he could be a wonderful wing defender, and he can also end up like a really strong on both ends of the floor. He can end up being that ball handler and a wing player. But in terms of where they are now and where the Pelicans look like they're going, what direction they're going in, it feels like maybe he could slide right next to CJ McCollum in that lineup. It looks like that's what they have going on for them right now. Like CJ McCollum, then Trey Murphy, Brandon Ingram, Zion, and then who they have as center, Jonas Valanciunas. Is it Valanciunas?
Yeah.
And that's a pretty solid lineup. I mean, like that earned them first place like last year before Zion went down with that injury.
I mean, honestly, if they can keep their stars healthy, they got a crazy team. Like you said, they were in first place at one point. Zion went out. Brandon Ingram went out at some point. I'm pretty sure last season McCollum got hurt as well sometime throughout the season. So for them, it's not even about roster construction. I don't think anybody can question the talent they have, like from top to bottom of their roster. I think it's just about health, man. And it sucks that the reflection of their health during the season is happening in the off season too. Like, I know it's not directly connected to their training staff and stuff like that, the stuff that happened to Trey Murphy, but it just sucks, man. Like health being the biggest issue for this team. And like just to talk about Trey Murphy for a second, I kind of do see him more as that like small forward of the future type of role. I don't know if I can see him playing point guard. I think that takes away from his game. Catch and shoot player, wing defender. Like Max said, I don't know if I can see him just like, hey, I'm gonna run up the ball, I'm gonna run these pick and rolls, I'm gonna set you up, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion. Not saying he can't score, but I think he's better as like an off ball scoring option. Like kind of like a Paul George situation. Yeah, Paul George can handle the rock. He can get to his spots as well, but he's not out there trying to be a point guard. Like he can pass when he needs to, but that's not his main primary focus. So that's kind of what I see for Trey Murphy. As far as CJ McCollum and his fit with the Pelicans, I feel like he's a great veteran leader, but I do think this team is lacking like a true point guard in some aspects for this roster. So if the Pelicans can kind of find that, I don't know where they find that from, like who would fit in this system, but I don't know. I just still see CJ McCollum as that shooting guard, that two option. I'm not sure if I can see him as the full time point guard for this squad. And also, I don't know, man. I, I just think they have a lot of stuff going on for this roster. They just got to figure out lineups and fits and try to keep everybody, like all their stars, healthy. So that's the biggest concern for me.
Yeah, Earl, I think you made a couple good points there. I think the Paul George comparison for Trey Murphy is very apt. Like that is really what I see his ceiling being, with or without this injury. So I think that's a good like comparison in terms of like what his skill set most lends himself to is that kind of Paul George like dominant scorer while also being an extremely versatile defender. I think that's a good comparison. And you also bring up a good point with like what are they doing with their point guard, because I know they've had some success with CJ running the point, and he definitely has. I think he's learned a lot from Damian Lillard in terms of how to run an offense. So I'm not going to discredit McCollum's ability to do so. But I also don't think it's the best usage of his skill set. Like, the best McCollum we've seen in the NBA was next to Damian Lillard, and it was kind of an off-ball two-guard for the most part. Like, playing shooting guard, not having to go up against, like, the dominant defensive point guards of teams, being able to move without the ball, cut, spot up. He just doesn't have, like I said, that pure playmaking ability. So I think New Orleans knows that, which is why they've experimented with, like, Zion at point guard, Brandon Ingram at point guard, Trey Murphy at point guard at times. They really need to figure out what their point guard situation is, because I think a team of McCollum at the 2, Ingram, Zion, Valanciunas. You got Trey Murphy and Herb Jones off the bench. If you can just find a solid point guard in that to fit that role, that's a team that could probably go to a Western Conference Finals. And like under the right situation, if Zion's playing at an MVP level, that team could probably win an NBA championship. That would take a lot of player development from guys like Herb Jones, Trey Murphy to be like solid role players, and obviously would take them. They would need to find that point guard because Jose Alvarado ain't it. And I'd love to talk about Jose Alvarado if we can, because I am very much not a Jose Alvarado supporter. But yeah, if they can just find a half-decent point guard, I think New Orleans will be in a good place. Half-decent point guard and injuries, obviously.
You don't like Grand Theft Alvarado?
I don't. I think he's over. He's an overrated TJ McConnell. That's all.
That's disrespectful.
It's not. I don't think it is. I'm not a huge fan of his game. I don't see much from him, you know? He picks people's pockets in the backcourt, but like Pablo Prigioni was doing that 10 years ago, and no one. But now Alvarado does, and he's like the greatest player ever. Like I don't see the hype.
I mean, not a lot of people knew about Pablo Prigioni because, first of all, he was like the oldest rookie in NBA history. I'm pretty sure he was like a 38-year-old rookie or
35.
something. 35-year-old rookie. 35-year-old rookie. But, I mean, still, like...
He's not, like... He can't really create his own shot. He's not a tremendous playmaker. He's sufficient enough, like, to play point guard. You can move the ball around fine, but there's nothing that, like, stands out. He's not really a good on-ball, like, one-on-one lock-you-down defender. He's got very good instincts and reflexes, which gets you a lot of steals, which fair enough. His, like, ability to steal the basketball is his greatest asset. But, like, I feel like I'm just describing TJ McConnell. Like, tell me I'm wrong here.
I mean, I don't think DJ McConnell has his defensive prowess. I'm not sure. I mean, TJ McConnell will have...
He's a player. No one's talking about him as like this huge guy. Like maybe it's not that Alvarado's bad, but I think he's overrated.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I think of McConnell, I think of 3-point shooting, and I feel like you don't.
Like that, McConnell?
Am I wrong here?
You're talking about Jose Alvarado or CJ McConnell?
Either. I don't see either. very
CJ McConnell. I'm thinking TJ McConnell.
I meant TJ, my fault.
Yeah. Wait, no, TJ McConnell. I'm pretty
Jose
sure
Alvarado, Jose shoots about 33% from three, so he's not like the best shooter. Like he
No.
can hit it, yeah, but I don't really see him as like a 3-point threat. Like yeah, he'll hit him open sometimes, but I don't know. For the most part, I don't. I don't know, man. I have mixed feelings about Jose Alvarado. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I feel like he's a decent role player. I mean, last year he averaged about 9 points a game, something like that. I don't know what his assists were. I don't know what his steals or rebounds were either. But he does get a lot of media attention. I do agree with that for the whole backcourt. I'm a hide in the corner, pick your pocket, off blitz type of defense he runs. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just feel like when people figure out his game, they just know to look for it. So it's not like something he can just consistently do game by game. Like people are literally looking like, okay, Jose Alvarado, where is he at? He's on the floor. He's not in front of me. He's behind me somewhere. So I feel like his game, I don't want to use the word gimmicky, but like that whole defensive set he runs, it will get old. Like NBA players aren't gonna fall for that more than once in the season, respectfully, unless they're just 100% caught off guard. So I think if he can kind of rebrand himself to being a decent role player, now I've seen him do some stuff like off season stuff. I forget if it was for this World Cup or something like that. He had a good game, or maybe it was some just NBA runs this summer. I feel like he had a pretty high scoring game, maybe like 30 something plus. So just seeing him like as an aggressive scorer, I think he definitely can be that off the bench. If he just focuses less on trying to create those highlight plays and just get to his spots, hit open shots, and just develop that part of his game. But I think the less gimmicky he comes across, the better play he can be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it should be more like a one and off thing. To be honest, I thought that one of those steals were gonna be like that situation, like, oh, it's the like only one time he's gonna do that. But no, everybody kind of kept falling for it to the season because they didn't know how to like catch it. But I mean, look, after they start studying film on this man, they're gonna realize what he's all about. And I mean, if he can, again, like you guys said, if he can convert himself to a good 3-point shooter, a good shooter, I feel like he could be a good role player for that team. But right now, I feel like he just needs to get him shooting up, maybe keep the same amount of defense though, because his defense is pretty good as a role player.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like TJ McConnell, I'm sorry, like Jose Alvarado, like he's a fine role player. I just don't see him like I feel like he gets talked about way more and lauded way more than he deserves. Like I said, like he's kind of like no one's talking about the TJ McConnells of the world. Like I feel like he's just at best like a guy, which is fine. Like that's still very like to be an 8th or 9th man in the NBA, you still have to be in like the top 0.00001% of basketball players. So like obviously the guy is very talented, but I just feel like for the amount of attention he gets versus like his NBA on-court production, it's a little bit blown out of proportion. So like I don't ever see him being a starting point guard. I don't ever see him being a 6th man. I just kind of see him as like a play 20 minutes a game, don't turn the ball over. He's one of those guys where it's like just don't do anything wrong. Like just make smart decisions. Don't turn the ball over. You know, he's gonna play solid defense. He's gonna get you some steals. He's gonna be good for team morale. And like you need guys like that to win a championship. So he's earned his spot in the NBA, but I just don't think his ceiling is very much higher than what he is right now. He will kind of always be like this 7-8 points a game, like a couple assists, a cool steal here, which is, like I said, you need guys like that, but let's not act like he could like take over the starting point guard spot one day. Like I have not seen anywhere near that level of production from him, and I am very salty that he stole Rising Stars MVP from Quentin Grimes this year.
There it is.
Yeah.
There's the agenda right there. I was waiting for the agenda.
I started hating him a lot more after that.
I'm not gonna lie. I felt the agenda approaching. I just didn't know where it was coming from. I'm not gonna lie to you. Look, here it is, Max. Everybody deserves some type of praise in their career, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I watch Jose Alvarado just play basketball. I haven't. Only time I watch Pelicans games, honestly, is when Zion's healthy. And respectfully, we haven't really seen that a lot. And this is coming from a Zion fan. Like, I have 2 Zion jerseys. I can't even wear them because he doesn't play. Hopefully this season it changes. I'm a Duke fan from North Carolina. Lived there for a couple years, so I love Duke. Unfortunately, Zion's game hasn't 100% translated, but that's a side quest. Jose Alvarado, I just feel like everybody deserves a little tiny bit of praise. Does he get a little bit too much? I can probably agree with that, Max. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do agree. Like the media does eat up the behind the back still, whatever it's called, the Jose Grand Theft Auto. I get it, where it can become like, oh, it's a little bit too much, but everybody's gonna get their little type of fame. Like everybody knows you have those spikes in your performances, or you do one thing, people kind of fall in love with it. It's just I feel like that's just the art of like our social media era. Like it's the fans putting the stuff up. It's not necessarily the players out there creating these profiles for him. It's not really 100% all of his gameplay. It's just fans falling in love with something he's doing, putting it on social media, creating tags, creating this fan base, and that's just like part of the game, man. Some people just for what they can provide as far as entertainment become like those celebrity type NBA names. So, not saying he's a superstar, not saying he's an all star. I think he's just a decent role player. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say he can't ever be the starting point guard. I think everybody has some type of potential being one of the best NBA players in the world. You have to be in the NBA, or basketball players in the world. You have to be in the NBA. So I don't know what his ceiling is right now, but I think time will tell. I just don't think we should just write off his whole story. I do agree the media is getting a little bit weird about it. But yeah, I don't know what his cap is, but you never know what can happen in the future, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
some
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
The guy is still immensely talented to be in the NBA to begin with, and like he deserves, like he can have his praise. He wants to have his moment in the sun when he got All-Star Game MVP and was like cooking in that one. Not All-Star Game MVP, sorry, Rising Stars MVP. Where he was cooking in that one Rising Stars game. Like, sure, yeah, give him the spotlight. I just feel like he's full. You know, that one performance like fueled a bunch of like the crazy fans you talk about, where like they think he's him, but like I don't think he's that guy. Like he can have that trophy when Quentin Grimes is hoisting like an NBA Finals championship trophy. You know, I think Quentin Grimes will laugh last. Laughs hardest or something like that. I don't know.
He will have the last laugh.
But, yeah, I think he'll get the last laugh. But hey, Jose Alvarado, he's still solid. Like, listen, it probably sounds like disrespect calling him TJ McConnell, but like the amount of times TJ McConnell's made me want to pull my hair out as a Knicks fan shows that like the TJ McConnells of the world are still very, very good.
He played for the Knicks.
TJ McConnell, like when the Knicks had faced him, like he is a notorious Knick killer. TJ McConnell.
Oh, okay, good.
He every time.
Yeah, something that Earl said kind of sparked an idea in my brain here, because we didn't, obviously we kind of recorded in between the points where FIBA was going on, then right, FIBA was happening, right, FIBA just started, right. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. And FIBA. But no, so then there's this runner, I don't know his name, Noah Lyles.
No,
he said that about the NBA World Champions. And okay, so here's my original take for the whole situation, right? To respect to every single league out there right now, to respect to everybody going on right now, I don't think it's crazy to call the NBA champions world champions. I don't think it's far off of a crazy thing to say. You know why? Because we gather players from all over the world on a college level. On a college level, they grab the best players from everywhere on a college level, have them play 1 year in that college, and then go right to the NBA. Almost every single international player that we're seeing nowadays goes to a college, goes to the NBA. 1 year and out. But I do see everybody else's point, because we are national competition. We do have international competition, but that's only, for some reason, it's only open to Canada, being the Toronto Raptors. But in my personal opinion, because we've seen hidden gems all over the place, all over the world, and the NBA has always ended up with one of those hidden gems on their roster at one point or another. So, in your guys' opinion, Do you think what Noah Lyles said was completely like outrageous, or are you guys thinking like, is he he's kind of right, but he's kind of wrong? Like, what are you guys thinking?
Just watch Jimmy High Roller's video on it. Literally, just watch the Jimmy High Roller video. He did it in 12. He made his whole argument in 12 minutes. It's kind of just like, yeah, just watch that video. I think he touches on all the perfect points.
Whose video?
You don't know Jimmy High Roller?
No.
Earl, tell me you know Jimmy High Roller. You're not smoking too, right?
I mean, I'm not smoking, but maybe if I seen the face by name, not necessarily, honestly.
NBA YouTube, Jimmy High Roller. Am I the only one who knows Jimmy High Roller in this call? This is a basketball call.
Hold on.
I'm not too connected with basketball YouTube. I'm connected with a lot of Knicks YouTube.
I'm gonna have to link y'all Jimmy High Roller stuff because the guy is like the biggest like stats nerd, but he also like presents everything in like such an easy and digestible way. Like his videos, they're like all 10 to 15 minutes, but it's like the literal best basketball content that you can watch. Like
okay,
down the back.
I've seen him before, but I don't watch him consistently to like know that he posted about the situation. But yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
But I want to ask you real quick, Max. What is your opinion on the situation? Because that's what I'm ultimately asking. I know you probably agree with him, but like, give me one point that he said. Was he on which side of the argument was he on? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, he was on. He's what you said, Omar. That the NBA at the end of the day, it's the best. It is the best basketball league in the world. It is the best players. It is the most competitive league. The teams in this league are the best teams in the world. Obviously, it's different because like basketball's not like soccer where you have a lot of like the best teams, like the best soccer competition in the world, like the most competitive league. Well, even soccer has like the World Cup, so it's like
the World Cup is usually reserved for like the
nation. It's
national. It's not soccer when they present the World Cup, it's not nationally. It's legitimately all over the world. But nationally, a lot of other cups actually do not call themselves world champions.
I don't know. I'm a fan of you take the most competitive league in any sport. Whoever wins that league is world champions. I know in soccer it's like the Premier League or La Liga or whatever. Like whatever the most prestigious, highest competition, best league is, whatever team wins that, they can call themselves world champions. I know some people were like, Real Madrid won the soccer thing, but they don't call themselves world champions. I'm like, they can. I would have no problem with that. They should. Everyone from the world goes to play them, goes to this league. They all convene in one place. And that's the thing with the NBA. Everyone in the world convenes on the NBA. It just happens to be located in the United States. It's not like stupid U.S. people having U.S. bias just because like the NBA happens to be located in the United States. Everyone posting the meme where it's like, oh, what U.S. people think the world is, and it's just like the U.S. on the world and nothing else. Like, no, we're saying the NBA champions are world champions because the best league, the best basketball league in the world happens to be in the United States. I'm sure, like I said, the best soccer league in the world is somewhere in Europe, and whoever wins that, they can call themselves world champions. I'm assuming the MLB is the best baseball league in the world, but I'm like not in tune with baseball at all. So if there's a better league somewhere else, then they can call themselves world champions.
I'm pretty sure they don't have baseball anywhere else but Japan.
But
yeah, so yeah, that's my take. It's like wherever the best competition is, if you win the toughest league there is to win, then sure, you're world champions. It doesn't matter if that's in Indonesia, in Scandinavia, in Singapore, in Japan, in the United States, in Spain. Like you go where the competition is. As a competitor, you want to compete at the highest level. And there's no doubt in anyone's mind that the NBA is the highest level league in the world. If you want to argue anything else, you're just delusional. So in my mind, the Denver Nuggets are the world champions, and they will stay world champions until they forfeit that, until they either lose that crown, or if they go back-to-back, then they can be two-time world champions. Michael Jordan's a six-time world champion. Just because he didn't win the FIBA World Cup or win the Olympics like X amount of times doesn't mean he ain't a world champion.
Right.
Look, it's so simple, man. First of all, just say I agree with both of you guys. Noah, you are just, I don't know if it's just mistakenly uninformed about the whole situation of what the NBA is, but maybe you should just do some more research. I'll just say some names real quick. I just have a list. I just literally, quick Google search, a list of just like top NBA players who aren't from the U.S. Giannis, Jokic, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Pascal Siakam, Sabonis, Jamal Murray, Louis Marketing, Andrew Wiggins, Josh Giddey, OG Anunoby, Kristaps Porzingis. I think I'll probably stop there. It's a really long list. I don't really feel like naming 200 names. But the point is, like, the whole point of the NBA is to bring the game of basketball from a national standpoint all across the world to one place where everybody can watch these guys perform and play well. Like, we have the Luka Doncic's of the world. We have the Jokers of the world. We have the Giannis's of the world who compete. And right now, currently, are the top players. Most of the top players in the NBA, not most of them, but a good amount, are international players. So to just sit there and say that you can't call the World Championship because they're not competing against, like, you don't have flags out there and stuff like that. I get it. I understand that point of view. I truly do. But our game is just so diverse, man. I think looking at it just from a flag standpoint is just kind of a little bit one-sided, man. Like, we have the best talent, not in the U.S., across the world. Our league has the best players in the world. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant as, you know, American citizen or anything like that. It's just a fact, man. Top players who played in other leagues come to the NBA in order to get opportunities to play, not only for great and fantastic organizations, some of them, not the Knicks, respectfully, get paid to do what they love, play basketball, but they compete for the world championship to be the best NBA team in the world. So I totally disagree with his take. I love the NBA, man. I think it's one of the most diverse games of basketball there is in the world. And I think that tape was it was really one of the weirdest and just most random hot takes I've seen in a long time. So I'm going to triple down, I guess, and agree with both of you guys and say that I'm against the take, man. I think the NBA has a fair amount of international players. So I think it can be called the World Championship, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, I think, though, a lot. Like, you know it's a bad take when all of NBA Twitter is on the same. When is NBA Twitter ever agreed on anything except for? But if you go on Twitter right now, 99% of the takes are saying what we say. So when you got NBA Twitter agreeing with or disagreeing, like unanimously disagreeing, you know you done messed up.
And Max, you know
who he was messing with when he took on NBA Twitter and lost.
Yeah. And Max, you know it's bad when Damian Lillard's not tweeting about his life decisions and he's agreeing with other NBA players. Like, it's crazy. You got Damian Lillard coming out of character to tweet about this, man. You know life is getting real out there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
When the comment section of your post is like every single verified NBA player on Instagram being like, "This is an awful take," like, it's just ignorant, just a terribly ignorant take. Which, like, you know, we all have those moments, but the guy really should not have like come out in front of a microphone and just spoken that nonsense into existence. But, you know, he messed up. It is what it is. He's allowed to have his opinion. However wrong it is.
I mean, yeah. Look, I've never heard of this man before this whole situation, and it doesn't surprise me why.
All right, well, listen, I'm not about to sit here and like disrespect him, man. Like, he didn't he?
I was about to say,
like, he is the fastest man in the world. Like, I ain't about to.
He is the fastest man.
All right. I was not. I apologize, Noah Lyles. I was not familiar with the game, but still, with that being said, my man is not an NBA player. He doesn't know the struggle. He doesn't know what these NBA players had to go through. He doesn't know what international players have had to go through. He doesn't know what the NBA's steps have been taking to make this league international. He does not know. And the fact that he's speaking on it and the fact that he just sounds like this, I don't want to say he's ignorant because he seems like a nice young man, but with all due respect, Noah Lyles, you have no idea how the NBA works, and you gotta reevaluate your comments there.
It was an ignorant. You can we all make ignorant takes, even though most of us are not ignorant people. So it was an ignorant, but that happens from time to time. I get it.
And it's like the NBA champions, they're 2-star players are international players. Like Jamal Murray is from Canada. Jokic is from, I don't want to get it wrong. Anybody know offhand?
Serbia. No.
Yeah, wait,
Yeah,
no,
Serbia.
Nikola Jokic, right? Serbia.
Yeah, Serbia. Yeah.
Serbia,
So,
yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Yeah. Just, I guess to conclude, just way too hot of a take, honestly. You can't just take over the. I know you just won gold, but your first stance as winning gold for USA is just to go against the whole NBA is crazy, man. Like I said, you're the fastest man on planet Earth right now. I will not take that away from you, but you had as fast as you're on the field is as fast as the whole world turned on you, respectfully.
Yikes! Earl's spitting right now.
I'm sorry.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That-
mean,
That's a wild take.
yeah.
Like that fast.
I don't know how to even.
Don't come after me, bro. I'm just here talking.
Bro, he'll be at your house in like 2 seconds. Like he can run to your house.
He can
Run
run to your
my
house.
roast me.
Well,
Go back. Maybe catch an NBA game.
We said WNBA. I'd like to see what
Yeah.
he was WNBA are.
Look, Adam
Yeah.
Silver's gonna go on a whole press tour. Oh, you want to come to the NBA game? All this stuff. No, let me get off of Adam Silver too. Hold on. Okay, I'm chilling.
No, I'm here for it. I'm here for the Adam Silver flaming. Go ahead.
Side note: Adam Silver has been making a lot of questionable decisions as far as like
Definitely.
disciplinary actions.
definitely.
Okay.
Different moves, development moves, NBA moves. I don't know. I feel like he started off really hot, but he has been taking some really weird and strange L's recently. But that's all I'm gonna say about Adam Silver, because I'm trying to get us that NBA sponsorship right now. So shout out to Adam Silver. He is doing the best he can right now. Maybe.
I don't know if
yeah.
I agree with
While
that
we're
one.
on sponsorship, I'd like to take a quick moment to shout out, not the sponsor of this show, but maybe one day they will be. I'd like to shout out IHOP for having the best pancakes. I love IHOP. I go to IHOP whenever I can. I think they're awesome. Their pancakes are the best in the world. I'm sure a bunch of NBA players also go to IHOP. So if IHOP execs are watching this and you want to like slide a sponsorship to the show, like I will gladly record the podcast from an IHOP. Like I will go to an IHOP, order a bunch of. I'll just talk and eat at the same time. Like y'all can watch me eat these pancakes and they'll be gone in 5 minutes. Like that's just how I finish an IHOP pancake.
That is respectful. That is respectful. And also to IHOP, your pancake tacos are delicious.
I haven't had those yet.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. But just to get back to the NBA talk real quick, I know we're kind of going like, we're going to bring it right back.
What about the tournament? We were just talking about Adam Silver. One of his biggest, most recent hot take or hot button decisions was the in-season tournament. I don't think we talked about that yet. So
okay, that was actually the perfect segue because I was going into that next. But I was going into that next. And to be completely honest with you, I think the in-season tournament will be so good for the NBA. It'll encourage players. It'll encourage more viewers to watch and to get more of a cup. I think it's going to be great because they incorporated something different. And I feel like that'll be so good for the NBA because of what this type of competition brings is more fans into it and more rivalries can be made from it. Imagine getting swept in the in-season tournament and then having to see that the person that swept you in the in-season tournament later on in the playoffs. Imagine how deep that's going to get.
Okay, I think we're at that point in the show where Omar and I disagree about something.
Oh, okay.
No, Earl, why don't you go ahead? I'll sit back and
Because Earl, I see Earl making faces there. I don't know.
I can't see Earl making faces. All I see is Earl's profile picture. So I don't know what you're thinking right now, Earl. But why don't you go ahead? I'll bite my tongue for the moment.
I think I'll just get the hot take started for you. I'm not sold on the whole in-season tournament yet. I don't really see the motivation that Omar's talking about.
What? You get a pay bonus? You get
yeah, maybe for a young team, 500. What is it? 500K.
500.
Yeah, it's 500K. Yeah.
Okay, but to a rookie, that's like a good third of your contract.
The motivation is going to be for those younger NBA teams. I don't
Yeah.
see like a LeBron James, AD, or I don't even see a Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle going out there and playing a whole whatever tournament and trying to, hey guys, let's go out here and win this NBA ring or whatever in season tournament ring and
The cup.
500K.
It's gonna be a
NBA.
cup, yeah. The
And then you
NBA
gotta go to
cup.
Vegas or something like that too, like the
Yeah.
finalists or whatever. Like I think we just created something to make more money. And did you guys know that not all these games are gonna be televised? So what does that mean? A lot of these games are probably gonna be on League Pass, a paid service for the NBA to make more money, to watch more games, to create more content. It's just a way for the NBA to make more money, honestly, in my opinion. That 500K per person, they're making that like times 100 from this whole little tournament run, honestly. So I don't know. It's one of those things I have to see it to see how I'm gonna react to it. I just don't know if the star players are gonna show up and be excited for this tournament. I think that's my biggest thing. I know what is it early on in the season, right? Like kind of early on.
It's
Not
gonna
even-
be the midway point. It's gonna be the midway point.
Or like
Probably around
it's
January or
like,
February.
or it's November.
No, it's not.
It's November to December.
Are
That
you
is-
serious?
Yeah, it's over before Christmas.
Wow.
It's
Wow,
not-
that's a little crazy, actually.
Like 2 weeks. Like the first game of the tournament is November the 3rd. I would know.
What?
And it's the Knicks versus the Bucks. That's 2 weeks after the season starts. Call it the early season tournament. It's not the mid-season. Mid-season would be like March or January, where like we
Dudes
got
ain't even warmed up yet. Like we're not even warmed up for the season. We're out here throwing them in a tournament, like expecting them to be motivated. I mean, Giannis hasn't even stretched his legs yet. Like he's played
Most
with like.
don't even start the season. Like there's gonna be hella
Yeah.
players that they're like load managing. Okay, sorry. Can I
Ooh,
go
we
now?
got breaking
No, no,
news.
do
We
that.
got breaking news. We got breaking news.
we have-
Coming
we have
out
a
of the NBA, we got the Los Angeles Lakers signing Christian Wood to a 2-year deal. Yes.
Serious, don't play
I
with me,
swear
bro.
to God. I swear to God.
Let's
Chris.
go!
Congratulations.
Hey, give us the championship. Oh my God.
All right, relax. He didn't do too well last year. But we'll get into him later. We'll get into him later. He's so
Bro.
hyped.
And just broke his microphone.
Oh my God.
Oh
Christian
my
Wood.
God.
Congratulations, Earl. I know you wanted
2
Christian.
years?
2 years, yeah. I just got it on that on the Sleeper app, by the way. It's part of the league that we're in.
Wow.
Where I'm
Sorry,
gonna
guys.
destroy
Okay,
all of
good.
you.
I'm sorry, Max. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
I
Nah,
will
let's-
destroy all of you in the league.
When Christian Wood goes somewhere like that's earth-shattering news. I feel like that has to be covered. I'm all for the live Christian Wood updates
I
here.
know though. Who has Christian Wiz in our league though? Does anybody know offhand? In our
I'm
fantasy
up.
league?
But I don't care. I'll be honest, Christian Wood ain't all that. But hey, so I'm happy for you, Earl. Lakers fans, let us know how you're feeling in the comment section. Do you like this Christian Wood pickup? Yes or no? Give me a W or an L for Christian Wood 2 years.
Big W.
All right. But yeah, back to the topic of the in-season tournament. I felt so strongly about this. I wrote a whole PSF article about it, which y'all can check out. Go check out PSF as long as we're shouting things out. Go check us out on Pro Sports Fanatics. But
We will link that in description, by the way.
if Omar remembers, it will be in the description. For sure.
No, I will 100% remember it. Just send me the link.
I was gonna say, because
All right, I
typically,
just put a trade offer for Christian Wood, but back to this point. Okay.
typically
You
when
demon! I was checking out who was on his squad. I was gonna pick him up just for that.
typically when YouTubers say like I'll put the link in the description, they forget. So W Omar for not forgetting. But
Yeah,
anyways,
he's definitely gonna forget. But continue. I'm just playing.
the whole point of the midseason tournament, in theory, before they actually announced anything, the whole point was to make the players play harder in like previously meaningless regular season games. So it was to increase competition. It was to bring in more fan engagement to the dull points in the season. And it was overall to like give the players like something to play for. And this midseason, this NBA Cup accomplishes none of these things. The players have nothing to play for. $500,000 only makes a difference to the 14th and 15th guys on the bench who won't even be playing in these games. So they have no say in what's going on. Anyone who's getting actual minutes considers $500,000 as chump change. So there's no monetary incentive. In terms of, actually another thing was like load management. Players wanted fewer regular season games. That was something players have been asking the league for years, was to cut down on the 82-game regular season schedule. Was that too long? We want more off nights. We want more back-to-backs. We want a shorter schedule. So how does Adam Silver respond to this? He responds to this by, not only does he not cut the season down by this, the teams that do well, the teams that like actually try in this tournament, are going to be rewarded with more games to play. The two teams that make the finals, that go all the way to the final game, will wind up playing 85 regular season games. So now he's turned up the number of regular season games for the teams who do well. That's their quote-unquote reward, is having to play more meaningless regular season basketball. They've got to do this mid-season trip to Vegas, which, let's be honest, NBA is just doing this because they want games in Vegas. They can't find a way to get to move a franchise into Vegas, so they're just stuffing, basketball games down Las Vegas's throat. Like, this is the closest they can get. So the players have to ship out and do this in the middle of, and it's for what? For the NBA Cup? Give me a break. This is like some cheap trophy that's just going to be handed out that no one is going to care about. There's no prestige here. Nobody's going to care about this because the top players are trying. If you think that LeBron is going to kill himself trying to win an NBA Cup versus a Bill Russell's Finals MVP award or the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the year, you're crazy. Like, respectfully, as they always say, respectfully. Yeah. Jason Tatum ain't going to care. Nikola Jokic ain't going to care. People saying Steph Curry. You know what Steph Curry needs for his legacy? Another NBA championship. That's what everyone is chasing. The only way that this tournament was ever going to work is if they have some sort of reward that helps the team win a championship. Like, the winner of the tournament gets the number 1 pick the next year, or the winner of the tournament gets a playoff berth, or the winner of the tournament, gets 10 regular season games cut off. I don't know, but the whole point of an NBA organization is to win the NBA championship. That is what every player decision boils down to. That is the point of the personnel decisions. That is what everyone is working towards, is that championship at the end of the year. Because it has that prestige, because that's what everyone is working towards. It's the common goal of the NBA, other than to make it, but like in terms of the competition aspect of basketball, it is to win the grand prize, which is the Larry O'Brien trophy. Trying to win this stupid NBA Cup accomplishes nothing, and nobody is going to care. And when the players don't care, the fans aren't going to care. I don't care if my team's doing well. If I'm like a fan of a tanking team, that was another thing this whole thing was supposed to solve. It was supposed to solve tanking and give like the lower tier teams a reason to play hard during the regular season. Orlando ain't gonna try for this. They know they're not winning this, and they know even if they do win this, it doesn't cure anything. It doesn't like help them with their rebuild. It doesn't like put butts in seats. All it does is like they get to collect a trophy that's just gonna collect dust in like the owner's office, and in like 10 years they'll be like, oh, remember when we won the NBA Cup? Like, nobody cares. It's a pointless system because the bad teams will still be bad. They're not gonna win, and the good teams are just gonna still load manage and just tank these games because, let's be honest, a lot of teams don't care about the regular season. Statistics say that the playoffs are where it's all at, and that you probably want to be resting your guys during the regular season to a degree. I'm not defending load management, but the numbers would say you want to give your guys some nights off, that the regular season, you got to manage yourself. You got to coast into the playoffs. So this is not going to help anyone play harder. The stars are not going to care, which means the rest of the team won't care, which means fans won't care. So all in all, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe this will be like the biggest success, and Adam Silver will go down in sports history as having created the greatest tournament of all time, and that the NBA Cup will be more prestigious than the Larry O'Brien trophy. But I'm not holding out hope for that. If I'm wrong, you can clip this, bookmark this, come back, and I'll eat my humble pie here. But for all intents and purposes, this is nothing more than a gimmick that will blow over in 5 years.
Okay.
That's
beautiful.
And I love that. Next time, let's avoid clapping because for some reason, Mac's audio just completely cut out. But that's for next time. Look, you guys made some amazing points. Do not get me wrong. You guys made some amazing points there, and to be honest with you, you guys almost got me. But I gotta say this. Well, first of all, probably the winner of the tournament will get games cut off their schedule, debating on how many games they have left based on how many games they already played. So that rules that self out indefinitely regardless. Maybe it's less games and spread out kind of throughout more of a year, maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5 games a month. So maybe it can be easier for the team to continue moving forward. But in terms of load management, I don't like load management. I think it's a gimmick. I think it's just players whenever they feel a little sore in their ankle, like, oh, I got a little boo-boo, and then they go sit down like Kawhi Leonard. But, look, I do think the in-season tournament is going to do well for a couple of reasons. It is going to draw that international attention because everybody has to remember that the cup idea, the idea of the cup was created by soccer. And you're going to drag a lot of fans in there who are fans of these soccer tournaments and look like, oh, they're kind of doing the same thing. They're kind of mimicking us. So we like that. We like something we've seen before. So maybe this is a complete marketing stunt for anything. But also for tanking teams, I do feel like this is going to solve tanking. Do not get me wrong. This is not going to be the end-all be-all for tanking. But I do think for the short term, it's going to solve it in the sense where a lot of young teams, no matter what's going to happen right now, the NBA Cup is happening. So a lot of young teams are going to push for that, right? It might not be big name teams, and that's completely okay because that's what they had in mind. This entire idea was to continue building up these younger teams and making sure that they get the national attention that they need through NBA League Pass or wherever it's going to be. And then also bring attention to that cup because it's a mid-season tournament. I do agree with the lesser games thing, though. I feel like there should be less games for the rewarder. I want to make sure that is clear because I'm not thinking like the best players in the world are going to go give their heart out and die for this cup. Like, don't get me wrong, please. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to be really good for those young players who want to make a name for themselves. And the best way to make their name for themselves is to perform really well in these lackluster, and understand I'm saying lackluster, efforts. Because the NBA Cup is not a major thing. Nobody's going to be taking it seriously. We've said this. We know this. So younger teams are going to take charge. The selfish players are going to take charge. So in that sense, I think it's going to be good.
The problem is the young players aren't good enough to be able to beat the top teams, I feel like. They're not going to be able to go far enough. Like, the teams that do well in this are still going to be the Nuggets, the Celtics, the Lakers, the Heat. It's going to be a repeat. And if anything, it's just going to spoil, like, not spoil the playoffs, but, like, part of what makes the playoffs so special, it is the only tournament. So it's like there's a lot of it kind of, you get to see things unfold for the first time. I feel like it's like a little spoiler of which teams are going to be good and which teams aren't, where it's like it's kind of playoffs at the end of the year. And then real quick, I do just want to mention like the games thing. This website I'm on, the CBS website, says that any team that does not make the finals will still play 82 games in their regular season. The two teams that make the NBA Cup Finals will have 83 games. So all they've done is add an extra game to the schedule for two teams, and the rest of the league remains unchanged, which teams wanted to play fewer than 82 games. So pretty much 99% of the league will still be playing 82 games, but if you're one of those two unlucky teams that make it to the finals, now you have an extra game to play. So congratulations, you played yourself.
Wow, that sounds like a big slap in the face.
Yeah. I mean, like, players have wanted for a long time to be like, can we cut this down to like 70 games, 72 games? The NBA's like, no, you know what? We're going to add an extra game. For the top two teams that like are supposed to be focusing on an NBA championship, y'all get to go to Vegas and play one more game. Like, y'all get to go out there one more time, and we ain't going to pay you more. So
Adam Silver needs some thinking to do because I'm not sure David Stern left the NBA in the best capable hands.
Adam Silver. He's my favorite commissioner of all time.
David Stern is better.
Yeah,
What?
I promise you, he just is something.
Say it louder, Earl.
It's something about Silver that just makes me happy, man. When I see his name come across the screen, or when I see him at a press conference, you know.
I think it's just a bald head.
Yeah, it probably is.
That's what it is, honestly.
It probably looks too close to Men in Black.
Yeah,
sponsorship.
Something about Adam Silver, man. I'm trying to get those NBA tickets, my brother. So hook us up, man.
Yeah,
we
man.
Need three seats. Of course, we need flights. We're in different areas too, so hotels as well.
Look, Mr. Silver, if you want a real guy to tell you what you're doing wrong, I'm your dude. I respect the shit out of you for what you've done for this league, and I respect everything that you've done for the NBA. I feel like there's a lot of things we could have gone differently with, and I feel like we need to have a discussion.
Adam, why don't you fly us out to your office, talk to you about like how we can make things work. We can get this sponsorship deal nailed down. We can run the league, because I'm sure obviously you probably don't have enough people doing that already. Obviously, wink, wink. So yeah. At NBA HQ. How did we wind up like auditioning for the NBA?
And
like,
thank you, SeatGeek, for sponsoring this video.
Yeah,
If
SeatGeek,
you're looking on
thanks.
the app, look for the best tickets. Make sure you hit the green area.
You're giving them free takes right now. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Bro, you know. I'm just playing.
I'm not doing
You
that
should-
much.
It's a free audition.
okay.
I just want to know. I know how to do the thing. Welcome to SeatGeek. Yeah, they have the best tickets on the app. Green ones are for good deals. Red ones are really bad. Yellow are all right deals. So if you guys want to shop around, use our code. Beyond the Backboard.
No free
BTB.
ads.
No, I
Don't-
can do better. That was
Don't
solid.
no free ads around here. We need money. No free ads. No free ads.
Podcast is sponsored by SeatGeek, and I cannot thank
No, it is not sponsored by SeatGeek. It is not sponsored by anything. Please do not listen to these two men.
game, concerts, any sort of big event.
I love every single one of you who have listened to the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Peace out.